Well, the nation's corn crop right now is sitting at 67% in that top category, down a point from last week. And from heavy rains, we're talking extreme heat, many speculating over what's next for the growing season. Rick Hiatt with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers joins us now from his region. Rick, always a pleasure. So let's start by you giving us a summary of the 2024 growing season for your area and what the crop status is today.
Well, Susan, thank you. We've had a roller coaster ride. If we could have planted the whole crop in late March, early April, the soil conditions were perfect. But we know that in the Midwest, we get frost. And so we held off, and sure enough, the end of April, rain started coming, and we were like planning for a day, and then we get rain, and we'd have to stop, let things dry out, come back in and plant. We planted our crop for a month and a half in the Midwest, in central Illinois. And so that took quite a bit. Now, we did get it planted pretty much by the end of May, and then the drought hit in late May through the month of June. And that drought was pretty severe. We ended up having cracks show up in the ground. The beans were small, the corn was small. Nothing was happening at that period of time. And I think that there was some damage done to the early stages of the plants, where it decides how many kernels, how many rows, how many beans in a pod, etc. All that is determined very early in the season when the crop is starting to grow. But now we have the rains. Rains came the end of June. July, we're like 6 to 7 inches over the average rainfall, and everything is tall, green, bright, and beautiful. The problem that we have a little bit is that early deciding on what kind of a crop we're going to have with an ear of corn and a bean pod. And we see a little bit of damage there and holding back. So today things look great, but we've come through quite a change in weather to get here.
Boy, you know, obviously, weather's so crucial and obviously so frustrating for our farmers and producers. So, Rick, when you look at crop yields this year in the Midwest, how about, let me ask you this. If the rains stop today through harvest, what effect do you think this would have on production?
Well, we've got quite a buildup of moisture in the ground right now. And the one thing that will happen is we'll get a pullback on the kernels of corn. They'll shrink a little bit. We'll lose a little bit of test weight on the corn. And the same thing will happen with the beans. Beans will draw back. We'll have a little smaller bean. They won't quite make the test weight. And some of the blossoms that continue to go into late August will probably die back and not put the additional pods on the top of the crop. So there will be some setback, mostly in test weight of the grain, if we stop the rain right now.
All right. Wishing everybody, of course, the best in that area. Rick, always a pleasure. The man with one of the best voices, by the way, in television and radio. Rick Hiatt with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. Thank you so much, Rick.